I get why MAGA's upset about the Epstein lack of release. And, you know, Dr. McCormick's not wrong. This is about kids at the end of the day, and this dirtbag and his fancies and how he financed it. And if there's stuff that should come out, it should come out. I have no problem with that. And I don't think they should be upset with the next thing that's going to be played as a major change for MAGA. I do believe that the White House is strongly considering changing the policy on deportations with ICE. Here's why. It is impractical, and it is inhumane, and it is arguably un-American. Everybody wants law and order. The Democrats got it way wrong. They allowed the southern border to become porous on their watch, and it was a huge mistake, and they did it on purpose to please their left flank. I don't believe in the Great Replacement theory, but it was bad politics, and it was Biden and his people caving to the big mouths on the far left, and it was a mistake. But, the majority doesn't lie. Everyone who enters illegally is not the same. ICE people, the agents, should not be under attack. Their families should not be threatened. But they wouldn't need masks if they weren't seen to be attacking communities and taking people who are beloved and who are needed. Coming in the right way matters. Doing everything the right way when you're here also matters. I think there's going to be a change in the policy. You can't round them all up. It's not a good look. It's not going well. Last night, the border czar, Tom Homan, hinted that I could be right.
I know the Department of Homeland Security, along with the Department of Labor, is in the Department of Agriculture, are talking about policy changes now. I mean, the president's committed there will be no amnesty, but there's a lot of smart minds at the White House talking about, is there something for farm workers? Is there something for hospitality? And the president says we're going to relax and not prioritize them, even though they've never been prioritized. We're not prioritize them because we're going to see what we can work here. I don't want to get ahead of the president on what I think's coming or if something's even coming, but I know people are talking.
Will the pod bros kill him? Some of them. Will the left kill him? Absolutely, even though they want the same thing. Will the media kill him? Sure, especially because it's Trump. It's still the right thing to do. And I think it would be rejecting the extremism of the initial idea and the extreme members of the political spectrum that either want to punish you for making a smart change in a policy or want to punish you for being anything but your most harsh. So I think it would be a smart move. I'm being transparent with you. Let's have the debate. Let's bring in the former acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security under Trump, Mr. Ken Cuccinelli, always welcome here, and former Director of ICE under Obama, John Sandweg. Cooch, I'll start with you. The idea of a change in policy telling ICE, let's really go after the bad hombres, not the people who are working the farms, not people who are integral to communities. Let's keep it on the felonies. Is that the right move to make?
Not in absolutist terms, but in priorities, yes. Yeah, the criminals should always be the priority. They've been the priority in this administration. But look, they're like 2, 3, 4, 5% of the total illegal alien population. And if you're going to remove the millions the president has promised, you're going to go beyond just people who've committed additional crimes. I would point out there are already almost 1.5 million people who have removal orders, who've been all the way through the very extensive due process this country provides, in addition to that 400,000 or 500,000 criminals. So that's 2 million people right there. Those 2 million should be the top priorities, and that'll keep them busy for a while. But nobody, Chris, the place you and I disagree, and I respect the disagreement, but is that I don't think anybody who came here illegally, overstaying a visa, crossing the border, however they did it, should be exempted. I was in a hearing 2 days ago in front of Congress on parole, which, as you know and you've noted, the Biden administration abused terribly. They let 2.5 or 3 million people in using what's supposed to be a case-by-case, judge individuals who don't otherwise qualify system. If we actually use that system the way it was supposed to be used, we could get all the good stories in here. We could get the father whose 3 kids are now in the Marine Corps that I heard about in that hearing from Congressman Correa. on the Democrat side, by the way. And I don't have a problem with that. But if you have tools like that and they get abused into the millions, as was done in the Biden administration, then you've got to carve all that back and get back to equilibrium before you can have the kind of what's our best policy discussion going forward. Security first.
Well, but I hear you. But John, it's a who do you need to be secure from, and the expectation that you're going to round up. I mean, the president had said 20 million, 10 million, 14 million, 20 million, that he was going to round up. I mean, logistically impossible. Legally, I don't know how you could do it. I mean, the answer to how you guys did it in the Obama administration, getting 2.5, 3 million people, is you followed the process, and it took you 8 years. That's how you did it. He wants to get 20 million people in like 2 months. So do you think a change in policy is necessary here, and how would it benefit the administration?
Chris, I think this makes tremendous sense, right? Right now, while those agents are teaming up and hitting those farmlands, those agricultural sites, hospitality, there's bad dudes out there doing bad things. We want those agents focused on them. And I hear the deputy secretary saying, look, it's only 4 to 5% of the population, and ultimately you got to get to all these other folks, as well. But set that aside for the moment. The bottom line is that 4 to 5%, those criminals, the really bad ones, those MS-13 guys, those transnational gang guys, they make it hard on ICE to find. And while we're pulling all these agents, we're pulling them away from something else while they line up and hit that farm in the images we're seeing right now. These are guys who are working cases, and as the deputy secretary knows as well, these are guys who are doing cases involving child exploitation or money laundering or taking down Chapo Guzman. We're pulling them off that work, and we're putting them out here in these farms to get farm workers. Meanwhile, these gang members are still operating in our communities. There's a lot of work to do before we can say we solved the criminal alien population in the United States, and it makes no sense to divert resources to the farms until we've tackled that problem completely.
Well, let's see if this debate actually happens and there is policy recommended changes, and then let's reconvene. And I want to get your guys' heads on what sounds right and what sounds like, political BS. Ken, thank you very much. Appreciate
Chris.
you on here. And, look, yes, sir.
Yep, good to be with you.
Always a pleasure.
Good to be with you.
John Sandweg.
This subject came up earlier, a few weeks ago, and it kind of flip-flopped back and forth. So, like you said, we'll see if it really arises first. And then we can meet back here for further debate.
Well, we got to get these people past punishing you for changing your mind. You know what I mean? Like everywhere else in life, as you learn more and see and experience things, you change your mind. Only in politics, when you do that, is it a bad thing. And we wonder why we're stuck. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.